Hey Trent, how are you doing?
Hey Trevor, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Well, great. Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. It's really cold in here, and I know you were gonna take your sweatshirt off. I wish I had your
I'll
sweatshirt.
get you one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Empire sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Hey, all you got to do is buy a house. You get one.
Swag out.
I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Do they get a sweatshirt if they buy a house?
I could hook you up.
Okay.
I can make it a thing.
What's one thing you want people to know about Orlando or the Florida area in general?
Florida area in general, honestly, I think that it's just a great place to come and just find whatever you're looking for. Whether that's nightlife or it's quiet parks, you just have to find it and it's here for you.
Yeah. Good luck finding mountain biking. There's no mountains if you know.
Yeah. We developed those out. Swamps and mountains, no.
I think the
Top of the
highest.
state? Can you get to the top of the state and find some mountains?
Do you know what
Do the Appalachians make
what
it
the
that
top
far?
of the state is? What's the highest point in Florida? Do you know?
12 feet below sea level?
Below. I think it's like 200 something feet. I don't really know, but I think it's around the Claremont, Ocala area
Okay.
is the highest point. I think it's like 200 something feet above sea level. So, that's why.
So not a lot of mountains. No. No.
That's why things just whip across it. When a hurricane comes through, there ain't nothing stopping it.
Yeah.
So
No,
it
just
it
rolls
goes
on
over the
through.
top. So, but I think that's why I couldn't get my brother to move here. Actually,
Oh,
he's considering Tennessee now because he loves mountain biking, and he likes warm weather, but he just it's all about mountain biking. So I don't know. So
it is a big appeal. I mean, people just saying, "Hey, we need the
yeah.
mountains to do that." There's some people that are like, "I have to be in the area." Like I have friends that they went to Colorado because they could do they're super into skiing.
Oh, what are they, mentally disturbed or something? What is wrong with them?
No,
Like,
no, I would never say that.
I don't. Okay, I mean, I grew up in areas where they have snow, and you'll
Same.
never catch me in the snow for any reason, except for on accident.
Yeah,
Yes.
you would have had to really take a wrong left turn to get to there.
Yeah, I actually had a friend posted on Facebook like a month ago that a good friend of his, he was skiing with that day, ended up going off, trail and died, ran into a tree. Sonny Bono'd it.
My gosh.
I think that's a verb now. They Sonny Bono'd it.
I hear you can verb anything these days.
But yeah, no, I don't know why I laughed right there. I think the Sonny Bono thing got me. But yeah, he hit a tree, and it was like in his 40s. I'm just like, why would you want to go snowboarding?
It's that thrill. It's great to just have my face get a full face of snow. Sometimes just hit a bump wrong. I don't know. You get to go fast.
Do you like
sliding
snowboarding, or are we figuring this out about you? Did we just learn something new?
No, I've done sledding. As far as that's as adventures as I've gotten. I would pretend that go down on like the knees, like look at me, I'm snowboarding. No, I don't have the balance for it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's partly it. I've gone snowboarding a number of times, and I don't have a problem going down. I have a problem slowing down and stopping. So
you didn't get the one with brakes?
No, apparently, like when you go down on snow and ice, it sends you all the way down the mountain. So,
it just keeps going.
Yeah, so I'm just yelling, "Get out of the way!" I just thought the whole experience was very stressful. And I've gone multiple times, and every single time it was very stressful.
So for you, the best part would be the lodge at the end when you're hanging out by the fire.
Exactly. But, what's even the point if you could just come to Florida?
It's fire all the time.
And just avoid all the cold weather and everything. Because, I mean, I think it's in the high 40s and low 50s right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and that's in Florida. That's the cold front. So
yep.
The strange thing about Florida, what I was reading, with like because we used to have, this is called Orange County, right? So because there used to be a lot of orange orchards and stuff.
Yep.
Where are they?
They moved them further south, and then they outsourced it to Mexico.
Okay. Was there a reason for that?
Money.
Money? Okay.
It was cheaper to import than just keep growing, and plus they wanted to develop the area.
Yeah. I think a big thing for what I heard is they just don't grow as fast and as large in this area as they do down south. And so they're trying to compete with, a lot of the ones in California and then the ones down south, and they just couldn't. And then they have every great while they'll have a frost, and it'll kill everything.
reset.
So like that's what I heard happen with Dr. Phillips, because Dr. Phillips, when he bought that, it was all orange
Okay.
grows,
Yeah.
and then he's, I think, sold part of it to Robert Palmer for not Robert Palmer, what's his face, Palmer on what's his face, the golfer,
Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
Mhm.
Yeah, not my boss. But he developed Bay Hill,
Okay. Mhm.
and then they're just like, actually, this is a lot better than oranges.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of all of them.
It's fine.
Yeah.
They do it better somewhere else. That's just business 101.
Yeah. So, anyways, now we're Orange County, and there's not a whole lot of oranges.
But they kept it in like the logo. Orange County still has the orange in the logo. You
Okay,
look it up.
that's
They're like, we have to stay true to our roots, and our roots have orange trees.
yeah. Well, I'm from Idaho, and on our license plates it says famous potatoes. But do you know where we buy our potatoes? From Washington.
From Washington?
Yeah. How Idaho got famous for potatoes is that's where McDonald's decided they wanted to grow their potatoes, and they had this specific design. They hired Simplot, and they had this specific type of potato that's bigger, longer, larger, and it has a lot less blemishes because they wanted long fries.
Okay.
So whatever we do, we got to have these potatoes that are like really funky and long and stuff, and they're super hard to grow.
Yeah.
And they have to have a certain soil, certain environment. They found in Idaho, southern Idaho, is perfect for that. So McDonald's made southern Idaho into famous potatoes. But up north, where I was from, Coeur d'Alene, I mean, we got mountains and lakes and stuff. We don't have any potatoes.
No potatoes.
No.
Yeah.
And because McDonald's buys up all the Idaho potatoes, we're stuck buying Washington potatoes.
Oh man. Well, they don't clown around with those potatoes, so.
No, I mean, people love potatoes. The Irish people came over and they just brought them with them. Forget the famine. Did you hear about the Irish famine back in the day?
Someone's day, not mine, but yeah, back in the day, I heard there was.
Yeah, I think it was like the 1600s. They had, I think, just like Japan, like 60% of their diet is rice. It was something like 60 or 70% of their diet were potatoes.
Yep.
Well, certain types of potatoes grew so well, they started just replacing all the other types of potatoes, and
too many potatoes, one basket.
Right. Well, what happens when you get a disease and it attacks one type of potato? It gets them all. And if you don't have variety, so they had a potato famine because that was the staple of their diet. And then all of a sudden they had a disease that attacked their main source of potatoes. So needless to say, don't put all your potatoes in one basket.
I would not, no.
Okay. Yeah, so
sounds good.
Yeah, anyways, that's a lot of potato and orange talk for a podcast about Los Angeles.
Welcome to our podcast on foods. So if you come to one of our open houses and you see a basket of potatoes and a basket of oranges, you'll know what's up. We're just going back to our roots.
Yeah, and I mean, more than likely those potatoes came from Washington. And the oranges came from California.
It's fine. But so did the buyers.
Oh man. That's true. I mean, I hate to say this, but do you think we're going to have an influx of buyers with all those fires and stuff?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of one of those things that sometimes some people just need the right reason to leave. And as fortunate as it is, at least people who are in that situation, if your home is wiped out from a natural disaster, there is a relief loan for that. It's called a 203H. Basically, it's an FHA loan, and you can do 100% financing. It doesn't have to. You don't have to own the home either. If you were renting one of those homes and you were affected in this way, you could buy using a 203H, get 100% financing FHA loan.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
we need to start getting on the horn with all these California agents.
Yeah, just let them know, hey, we can help you out. It's just a great way to give back. I mean, people who went through this, they're already in such dire straits. They have to replace a bunch of stuff, and so now just, hey, in the process of replacing your house, you don't have to go with your down payment.
So, being that this is an FHA, and being that most of the homes, from my understanding, were higher end, more expensive homes, would that put a damper on that? Or is there like a cap on?
You still have to fit the FHA limits, but at least, I mean, moving to Florida, you can do a bit better with, around 500 $20,000 purchase price, roughly about there. I mean, you can find some good stuff in the right spots.
Well, and you're right, because FHA guidelines are based on your area. So if you're in a more expensive area, you're gonna have a higher, price point for FHA.
Yeah, there's one county, and I should know it, but there's one county in Florida that's considered high cost.
In Florida,
Yeah,
Broward, right?
Might be. I'll have to double check. But it's one of those. We only have one. Other states have like multiple. I'm sure like California, like 90% of them are high.
Yeah, it could be Palm Beach County, but I think there's more expensive homes in Broward County. I think it's because you go Miami-Dade, and you go Broward, and then you go Palm Beach County, and then you go Mart. And Palm Beach County is the one everybody talks about because I think that's, that's where Mar-a-Lago, that's where a lot of the expensive places are. But I think Broward has more expensive homes. I could be wrong.
Stay tuned. We'll get this.
Yeah, we'll get
this figured out.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you need pricey homes, we'll tell you where to go.
Okay, so potentially they could be moving. Do you think there's going to be any issues because we're already having issues in Florida with the homeowners insurance and whatnot because of FEMA, all the hurricane stuff. And then do you think it's going to be a bigger issue now that the fires hit too?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. So basically it's disasters just seem to like add to everything. So that's what they're talking about. Some of the insurance companies saying like, hey, even though it didn't happen in Florida, we're also prone to natural disasters. And when you see things like this, it kind of reminds you and puts you in a more, human state of like, hey, anything can happen. So the insurance companies, we do insure places in other states, so we need to kind of raise it a little bit up everywhere because they're like, we're paying out the nose in California for all these things.
I wonder if there's an answer to this. I just don't know. Over the last few years, I was just like, why hasn't, Governor DeSantis done something about the homeowners insurance in Florida? And it's getting worse and worse. And when I saw this fire, I immediately, I was like, I feel bad for all those people, but I was also just like that. I was like, oh, this is not good for insurance in general.
Yeah, it's a tough point because you see some of these houses that it should be affordable, and then you go, oh, but your insurance is gonna be like $3,000. You're like, what?
Right. If you can get insurance.
If you can get insurance.
Yeah.
Although the one thing that has happened is more private companies have come back to Florida for insurance. So there's been a rebalancing. There was a few, I think it was Citizens was the biggest one. And they would take and they say, hey, this is all you can get. Now some of the more private companies have come back. They got scared off because of several hurricanes for a while. They've come back, and now there's more competition, which is a little bit better for insurance.
Well, Citizens is state-funded insurance, and it's not that they are paid by, but they're brought in. They have the federal contract, and so supposedly they can't drop or deny you.
Oh, okay.
So they're like,
but they'll charge you for whatever they can.
Right. They're like the last resort.
End?
Yeah. So from my understanding, they're like the last resort, but also Citizens is in some areas can actually get you some pretty inexpensive but good coverage. From my understanding.
It all depends on your area.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, like working with a team like us, like I know I have a personal guy that I refer stuff on the insurance side of like, hey, my client needs the best deal. Sometimes the best deal is they need the lowest rate to just cover the property, and then that's it, to make the DTI work. And sometimes the best deal is like they want to be able to replace their countertop if a fly lands on it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Top of the line insurance to the best that fits your DTI.
That just sounds expensive. I do think that, and Florida's considered, I think they consider the whole state a flood zone now, right?
I think so.
So flood insurance, I believe, is one of those things that you should probably just buy. Even I'm on zone X, and X is 1 in 100 years. So,
and it's cheaper too. You can get it. You can be like, hey, I just want it. So it might cost you like $250 for the year, $600 for the year, something like that. And you're like, okay, so for $50 a month, I'm covered. Plus, there's gaps in our insurance here in Florida. It's like, oh, if the wind pushed the rain in at a certain angle, now it's not covered.
Right.
So it's like, oh, that you need flood insurance for that. I'm like, but it rained. It didn't flood.
Right.
It didn't even pool in front of my house.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's they try to get out of everything. I guess I can't blame them. That's kind of their job, to make money.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate because it's always a fight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, Yeah, I mean, anything real estate related. Did you know, or wait, we kind of talked about this. Did I give you the answer though? In the last 84 years, do you know how many times the prices of homes have decreased in value? How many years out
How,
of the 84?
how many times?
Seven.
7?
Seven.
Hmm.
What does that tell you? So out of the last 84 years, there's only been 7 times where where your home has decreased in value at all. And the largest one was in 2008, and it was a 14% decrease, 14.5% decrease.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
I did know that following elections, like everyone's like, "Oh, I wait till the election to buy. I wait till the election to buy." 7 out of 8 home prices went up the following year. So it's probably because everyone's waiting to buy, and now you have more competition.
It is funny because people are like, well, I got to see what this president's going to do. Well, you and everybody else. I mean, we're all waiting to see what's going to happen.
Everybody's waiting all the time.
It is kind of interesting how we get stuck in that state. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think, and now we're looking at it and it's like, well, I mean, interest rates aren't doing anything. We're still getting the carrot dangled in front of us.
Yep.
We're going to now be going into spring where houses look better. And people
photograph well, the flowers are in full bloom.
Yep, they list higher anyways. There's more buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So
people want to buy to put their kids in the right school district.
Yeah, and they want to buy in spring, so they're ready in the fall for the new school district and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I found that interesting that they've only decreased 7 years, because in my head I was like, out of 84 years, it sounds like a pretty solid investment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where most people end up getting to retirement age and they might not have any retirement, if that, and or my grandfather, he just turned 89 a couple days ago, and I hadn't talked to him, and I didn't even talk to him on Christmas, but I think it was December or something. I talked to him early December, and I was talking to him, and his financial advisor got indicted.
Oh.
And and he has like $1.5 million with this guy, and his assets are frozen, and so now my grandfather's forced on Social Security.
He's going to the potato diet.
Yeah. So, but I was like, that's crazy. But here's the kicker: is he and I wish I would have known beforehand, but he applied for a reverse home mortgage so that he could get. If you don't have a house to rely on and something like that happens, I mean, what do you like? He's like, I would have been stuck. We can't live on $2,500 a month in Social Security.
Yeah, no
way. And so he did a reverse home mortgage, so they're living just fine. But I'm just thinking, this is one of those things where a house most people take it for granted that they're just paying into their house like they do rent or whatever. But at the end of the rainbow, if you don't refi it out at all and you only make standard payments for 30 years, you have all that equity built up for retirement.
And that's the thing too, whether you are really good at saving for retirement, so you got a good plan, and your 401k is getting beefed up, honestly, the numbers say that if you have all the equity in your home, you can do a reverse mortgage. You should do it anyway, because in a down economy like we had, like where the stock market dipped, if you took some of the equity from the home to increase your reverse mortgage a little bit, your retirement account can keep growing. It's ridiculous. Like it's like you could keep it doubling. Like not to nerd out on too many numbers, but like I read a book on retirement and reverse mortgages, and the gist is that you could probably double your account and leave more legacy to your kids, which is always the biggest thing. I don't want a reverse mortgage because I want to leave legacy to my kids. But if you put an extra 12 grand on the house and took, some from that versus depleting your actualizing losses in your retirement account, the thing can keep growing and bounces right back after it. It just stays the same. Where other people who deplete that, they're not in as good shape, and they leave like nothing to their kids.
Dude, that's super interesting. I hadn't thought of it like that, but that's like a supplementary way of looking at it and keeping the retirement going longer.
Yep. And there isn't really a change. You take and you still switch off mortgage payments. You're still going to pay what you pay now: taxes, insurance, HOA.
Yeah. I was honestly thinking of doing a reverse home mortgage when I get older, just to go out with what I came in with.
Exactly. And that's the thing that people need to You just see, that's what it is. You're like, all right, well, but that's the thing. Like, if you do it, now you can tap into it, or it's like you have it available versus somebody who doesn't. And when you spend all that time renting,
Yeah.
and you don't have something to rely on,
Mm-hmm.
you get stuck.
Yeah, there's no way to build like that back end wealth without just investing in some way. And the easiest way to invest is just invest in yourself, which is a mortgage,
Mhm.
And I know it's tough to think about because most people just see it just like, oh, I'll just rent for another year or two or whatever. And it's just like, yeah, but if you're paying $2,000 a month, that's $24,000, that's $48,000 a year that could have gone to a house. And I get it that, you're paying mostly interest those first number of years,
Yeah.
but you're still paying some principal. You're still paying some
It's
equity.
still getting chunked down. But the other side of it too is that house is growing in value.
That's what we just said. In the last 84 years, 77 of the years have had growth.
I would love to play at the casino that allows me to win 11 out of 12 times.
Right.
Which is really what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So 7 out of 84, that's 7 years of loss versus the other math of years of win.
Yeah, but it's not just that too.
77.
It's like not only is it like spanking inflation, but there are certain years that, on most years, when I first got into real estate, on average, we were 8 to 10% per growth or year per growth, and so it was like everybody was like, this is perfect, 8 to 10. We don't want anything more than that. If we have more than that, we're going to have issues with inflation and other things, which we saw during COVID.
Yep.
And you don't want anything less than that because you still want regular growth,
right.
And so I was just always thinking 8 to 10%. That sounds pretty solid. Can you even do that like in the stock market? Like in the stock market, you're hoping for like 5 or 6.
7's good number.
Yeah, 7, and you want to beat inflation, and that's just, that's the big thing. No matter what, you want to beat inflation with your investments. But I'm just like 8 to 10%. That's solid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main thing. And then you can. There's ways to just tap into it. Whether that's hey, I pay this off and now I'm doing a reverse mortgage on it, or I need a HELOC for something, or there's just ways to be smart about it. But if you don't have it, you can't use it.
Right. And one thing that never stops unless they do something about it is property taxes and homeowners insurance, like we just mentioned. So when you get older and you're on a fixed income, even if you don't have a mortgage payment, you're still going to have those stupid little payments that you're going to have. And most people take those reverse home mortgages to pay for that type of stuff through the taxes and whatnot.
Well, and that's the other thing too. You could do a reverse mortgage, and you can set up what's called a LISA on it. So basically, it's an escrow fund for the next 20 X number of years for tax insurance. So it gets set aside. So you wouldn't have to even have to pay that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You just have to keep paying your HOA if possible.
Yeah, you should probably remember that. I wonder, you probably can't have the HOA worked into that or can you?
I don't think so, because a reverse mortgage is still a mortgage. So your mortgage payment never goes towards HOA. You have to pay that yourself. Be responsible.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Okay, that makes sense. All right, yeah. I think I'm slightly biased, but I think homes are the best investment. Like if you want to retire eventually, you should probably just buy a house.
Yeah.
So
I think so too. And the reality is that even when you have the house, if it ends up being too big, well, you could always downsize. What's going to happen is you're going to take and get that equity above and put that in an account, and now you get a smaller house and probably pay cash for that or something like that. And now, or you do a reverse mortgage on it, right? Would you rather pay 100% of a house and buy it, or would you rather pay 60% of a house and buy it?
It's a good point. It's pretty easy math right there.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's how it goes. That's all reverse mortgage does. You're like, all right, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good stuff. So, I guess this talk was all about reverse home mortgages. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. We don't plan these things. So,
no,
it's always interesting.
We just kind of let it go the way it goes.
Yeah. So, but now is probably a good point to end this session. And I did have a good time with you. And
I'm always
Trevor. And
I'm Trent.
And we do this on purpose just to confuse people. Actually, we don't. We just do it.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
See you next time. 3K. It's pretty cool. FHA does cool things. Like